get any sleep. This kidnapping case was making matters worse. An extravagant girl, Catherine, the claustrophobic atmosphere of the Molesberg mansion, the twisted challenge that was thrown at me, and that mask. That mask was haunting me. That morning, I found a surprise waiting for me in the Miami Harbinger. Tucked between its pages, similar to the letter found 2 days. Inside it, a note, displaying some chess pieces and a picture that immediately... Catherine, hand in hand with a guy I'd never seen before. I woke up with very few ideas, but this event gave me a new... But who sent that hint? I had to show the picture to Alice by the end of the day. I was sure she knew her stuff about... The paper opened with news about a little tourist plane that had apparently escaped from the Bermuda Triangle. Normally, the Harbinger didn't deal with such cases, but in this particular situation, there were clues and disturbing. From the article, it appeared that the investigator in charge was none other than the infamous Noah Adote Adewale. The man responsible had very little to do with him, but he always seemed... Ramos was still on the run, but the experts believe it impossible that he could have left the country due to the... I hope they weren't making the same mistake. I didn't want anything from... Bobby was down there... Bobby was down there for a better move. On the nightstand was a photo of my parents on holiday. Inside, I had learned everything I could from the TV. In addition to investigating the picture, I had some other leads to follow. First of all, Lupe had told me Molesberg would return during the day, and in addition, I wanted to better inspect the alley where I'd been challenged by that madman. For months, I kept asking. Sooner or later, I would... No trace of the events. I preferred not to find out what other treasure.
And who would you be, Grasshopper?
Who am I?
Forget it, I don't care. You're hired as sous chef.
Sous chef?
Not that there was a queue for the job.
You'll be shocked to discover that there's...
Damn Roger. He must...
Anyway, there must be some misunderstanding.
Are you here to work as a dishwasher?
It'd be an honor to work as a sous chef for...
Great. I'm chef...
Can I call you...
No. For now, there's not much to...
May I at least ask you...
Do what you like.
Chef, did you notice anything...
Weird? Now that I think about it...
Does it concern a mannequin with a bloody...
No, of course not. What kind... I just noticed that the night before last, old Roger didn't show up to beg for food like he usually does.
Is he homeless?
By now,
Where could I find the...
Roger is a vagrant. He usually changes place. But if I was really in a hurry to...
That public place on the prom...
That one exactly, Pipsqueak. Now go slice 5 pounds of...
Of course. I'll go back to washing dishes, with your permission.
This mayonnaise keeps curdling.
A cooking station. It contained a variety of offal. It was a sight many would relive in... A cookbook that seemed to date back to the... Establishing how long that stew... First, I had to make sure Alice saw the photo and made a copy before showing it around. I couldn't risk someone taking it away from me. Hello.
Hi, Lars.
Look at this picture, Alice.
That's the recently kidnapped girl, isn't it?
Precisely. Do you
I recognize the girl only because
Have you got any way to find additional...
I have many resources, my dear investigator. I'll make a copy of the picture, and I'll let you know.
Good girl. Dig up all the dirt...
Immediately, oh umpteenth wannabe alpha male. I'll let...
Another thing, while we're here. If I say the Italian word balsam...
Do you think this is the right time to play to...
I can assure you that this balm... Saying it out loud, I know it sounds...
I'll do a search. Maybe the word has...
Hello.
Hi, Lars.
I can't stop staring...
All right, then. Come on, lay out your hype...
Judging by your behavior, I'd say that in your adolescence you spent your days wondering how it would be. Courage, however, that you never... That was your way of declaring...
I don't mean to brag, but you let me down. Maybe you're not the great
I'm just warm... We'll catch up later, Alice.
Keep me posted.
I had nothing else to say.
Who are you? And why have you entered my—
I'm sorry, Lupe gave... I'm Detective Bundy of the HP...
The HPD, you said. Am I wrong? Or are we talking about that new support police
You're not wrong, and as you probably... And of those, I can say without false modesty that almost 45%...
You're very self-confident, Mr.
It didn't seem right to thump my chest and scream my name as usual, so...
So tell me, why's the HPD—
We both know this is not... The police asked us to help. Most of all, I hoped you wouldn't check. At that moment...
No, I don't mind at all. The more the forces that cooperate, the greater the chance that I'm at your complete disposal for anything you may—
Perfect. And remember, please don't leave the country until the... He shot me a look that immediately indicated, and without any doubt... Molesberg had clearly conveyed that he didn't want... Mr. Molesberg?
Go ahead.
What can you tell me about...
And Catherine. I know it might sound strange given her so... Everyone that knew her couldn't help.
I understand perfectly.
She loved music. You might think that's a family trait. Personally, I know little or
I
nothing.
have to ask, do you think there is anyone who might...
I absolutely and categorically reject the idea.
I couldn't help but notice how Molesberg talked about his daughter in the past. It seemed a bit too soon for such... About the sign painted on the... How do you think they did it?
I have thought about it nonstop for hours.
Tell me everything you...
Last night, the silence was abruptly broken by a loud... Me and the gardener, who lives in the shed behind the mansion, ran outside and found that I immediately thought it was blood. There's something I find rather odd. Namely,
By doing so, the culprit ensured the image would travel around the world, attracting my attention specifically.
you have a very refined cognitive process, Mr. Bundy.
I'd be interested to know what business you're...
Without boring you with the technical details, my company works in the field of
Boats?
We're talking about a company that covers every sector, from little rafts for right up to the construction of entire...
That must cost a fortune.
You can't even imagine. For such jobs, we only agree to participate at the end of the day, Mr. Bundy.
Do you know if your daughter was involved in a romantic relationship?
What the hell kind of a question is that? I refuse to talk about my daughter.
Your daughter has been kidnapped, and every possible lead must...
You're right. Sorry for my overreaction. No, I don't think Catherine was having a romantic relationship with...
Maybe she is to you.
Where did you find it?
I'll keep my sources confidential if you don't mind. Now, can you please...
That picture would be very inconvenient if leaked to. My daughter's kidnapping would quickly devolve into rumors of a romantic getaway, and that's a scenario.
I can assure you this photo will remain in my hands only. But now, please...
I don't recognize that man. I trust you'll identify him.
I'll keep you updated, but bear these words firmly in mind.
I understand perfectly. Now, if you don't mind, I have to steel myself and regain control.
His reaction seemed disproportionate to me, not a tribute to hell with Molesberg's wishes.
Dios mío, qué susto. You scared me.
I didn't think there was anybody in there. I hoped there was nobody.
Even if the pain is fuerte, I couldn't leave the house in dirt, and then I couldn't leave el señor Muls. He is upset and feels that
Commendable, but now you should really let me...
I cannot let anybody enter in.
I get it, but I might...
Si fuera por mí, I'd let you search the whole house, but this job...
I understand. Oh, but do worry, Senora Maid.
Bring Miss Catherine back to us, I beg you.
Just what I needed. The maid decided to be a hero right at the least. I strongly felt I had to get in there, and I certainly wasn't going to be stopped by a stereotype. What do you think of this photograph?
I never see...
And yet Catherine seemed to be pretty much...
Maybe a secret novio.
I have every intention of... Tell me something else about Catherine.
Lately she was having a time of isolation. Maybe because a piano competition went wrong. The kid really cared.
How long did this isolation...
Months and months, señor. Not even the
The spirit?
You'll think I'm loca, señor.
Don't worry, I'm used to crazy.
The Mulsbergs are a muy ancient family.
Do you have any material proof? Maybe some ectoplasm?
I never saw any of this man. One night, while she was in the upstairs hall, then suddenly words from a threatening voice echoed.
What kind of threat?
One of the ancestors' mottos. I read it many times while I dust. Madre de Dios, I'm so terrified. This could... I come from a very Catholic family and...
I liked Catherine more and more, taking advantage of a bloody heart and a motto uttered from unconsciously from the past. The kid had just sent me a clue to getting... I should replicate that scenario myself by acquiring a bloody heart. I also had to figure out the cursed words used by the girl to lend credibility to... The housekeeper told me she had read it while dusting on the upper... In addition, I needed a place where I would have full view of the housekeeper, but the main door wasn't an option. Maybe the window on the upper floor would suit me. There's absolutely nothing I can do to convince you to...
Lo siento, señor.
If I wanted to obtain access to that room, I'd have to scare... I needed a famous motto spoken by one of the Molesberg. I had to find a bloody heart to make the prank more bold, and I had already found a way to put the prank into practice. I climbed from the... Child's play, all things considered. There's absolutely...
Lo siento, señor.
If I wanted to obtain... I needed a famous... I had... And I had already... Child... Let's make this day of...
Si puedo ayudar...
The man had an impressive... God... The window was directly above the tycoons, offering me a good up. I just had to come up with a method to lower my... I thought I could tie some clothes to the radiator, creating a handmade... And the tycoon's room was directly underneath. On the other side, I had walked across a wooden board suspended in midair. I just had to take some more... I couldn't get off the ledge yet. The meaning of that little note, along with the identity of the one who delivered it to me, the meaning of that little... It showed Catherine with a very, Did that bomb bottle really contain a secret? Well, at the very least, that month, I'd save on soap. Sometimes, My obsession. Tin, empty, and filthy. I didn't need to call Alice right at that moment. Just having to talk to him in person from time to time was enough. Besides, my phone calls with Wheeler lasted 20 seconds at most. Anti-interception measures, he said. I no longer needed to call. I wondered what my mother was doing at that precise moment. It had been years. Anyway, I had... My skin smells natural, so no need to wash it. I've always suffered from a strange phobia. Strangers... There were dolls everywhere in that room. Either Catherine was or she was traumatized. There were dolls everywhere. Strange. The bed wasn't disturbed. There was nothing of interest to me at the moment. Archbishop Mosberg da Molina, judging by his size, and there was more. It seemed that his love for food was second only. He even forged a motto about it. The love of the Lord must be experienced in every form. This obsession of his, together with his size, caused him to die of heart failure. I recalled the story told by the maid. Was this Molina? I had just discovered the words the kid had used to scare the maid to death. Archbishop Mosberg, and there was even Archbishop, and there was more. He even forged a motto about this obsession. I couldn't get off the ledge yet. Let's make this...
Si puedo ayudar.
Hello, good man.
Yes?
What can you tell me?
Well, they...
Did you consider this could be the...
Gosh, you're right.
Of course I did. Experienced forensic science. Stick around. The sight could have fooled me, but surely not the smell. That was rosemary. I was all out of ideas. The sight could have fooled. The door was locked, but I didn't mind. I could go inside by the... It was slimy dog food. Despite that, a primal instinct triggered inside me and made me drool. Here, Bridget. Come here, sweetie. Something in the look of that dog told me it didn't want to play. Better stay. Another one of the gardeners. That flam. Yes, one of the keys belonged to that lock. Only a huge quantity of trash remained now. I didn't want an egg in my coat. A chicken house. A chicken coop? In this case... Here's Nancy's, but still no trace of Roger the homeless guy. Hey, are you the homeless Roger?
Dude, do I look like a...
I don't know.
I'm Mike, and you're a detective, I guess.
How do you know that? Huh, touche. So, do you know Roger the...
Knowing him is a stretch, but I caught a glimpse of him sometimes. He sits right on this bench and stays there enjoying the sun. I didn't see him today, though.
I guess I'll have to stop by later. So, what brings you to the...
Just stretching. I warm up for my daily...
Are you an athlete?
Plus, this year, I'd like to take part in the famous triathlon held...
Ah, yes, the triathlon. Well, last year I went to watch it, but I had to leave. My scarf ended up in the spokes of a participant.
You aren't going to assist with this...
No, they...
Good.
Have you heard about the Mosberg...
No. I don't live in Miami, and honestly, I don't...
See you, Mike.
See you soon, mate.
The palm was marked with a red symbol on its trunk. I wonder what that meant. I didn't know what kind of plant it was, so I didn't care. The palm was marked with a red symbol on... Typical seaside place, where exotic cocktails and typical seaside... A good way to enjoy sunny days on the beach. Not as good as Green Dart, but... Typical seaside... Hello.
Hi, Lar.
We'll catch up later.
Keep me posted.
A small yacht was on its side were the words Blue Mermaid. A small on its... I didn't need that stool. I didn't know much about music. I didn't know much. I looked at the picture a second time. It seemed authentic. The Count Manuel Cortez Mosberg. According to the plaque, he had started a branch, but his line of succession had become extinct by the end of the 16th. When I was a kid, I always dreamed... who am I kidding? Well, it didn't seem like a replica. The Mosbergs... Count Manuel Cortez Mosberg, but his line of... No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get off the ledge yet. The bleeding heart was one of the key elements of my plan. I couldn't... My skin smells natural. It was stuck. There were a bunch of numbers. They had to be notes, notes. It looked like a common jewelry. Hey, Chef, you don't have
They constantly ask for them. Those aristocrats.
to be honest.
I knew immediately I'd hired a beginner, but I'd hope you had.
I am full of tick. Stop it.
Listen, Ant. Fresh heart.
Okay, I get the message.
Now we're talking. I need some special number 5 meatballs, cooked with the recipe you can find on. I'll need them in large quantities for tonight, so try to hurry.
The preparation seemed elementary, but the ingredients. Florida ginger. I have no idea what that is.
It's a root, but I don't know its shape. Normally, my supplier delivers it all.
And the other ingredients. Don't we have any of them?
You can find salt and pepper on your workstation. For the rest, you need to make do yourself. Ever since I threw that cleaver at him, Oh, and be careful with the exotic meat. It must have a fresh new. These aristocrats become more.
Can I take that Parmesan from the shelf up there at
No, it's only the crust. I keep.
Tell me about it. I've also had. So I'd find salt and pepper right on the workstation. Considering the sophisticated nature of some of these ingredients, the Molesberg residents seem like a. Nothing. Still no trace of that phantom. I didn't know what kind of plant it was. The palm was marked with a red symbol on its trunk. Hello, good man.
Yes?
Have you got any of these?
Incredible! This seems like the rest.
What nonsense. These are needed to create powder.
Huh. A PDO egg. That's curious.
But that's exactly the quality
I don't think it would be a problem, but I must.
And can you tell me anything about the floor?
I can't help.
Aren't you the gardener?
Confidentially speaking, I'm. Mr. Molesberg took it for granted.
In short, you're. Stick around. I was suddenly. The hatch didn't want to stay down. The spring was defective. A chicken house. In this case. Maybe. Better think about it. A chicken house. In this case. The sight could have fooled me, but surely not the smell. I was suddenly hungry for broth. Come here, sweet. I was suddenly. I doubted the hen would give me enough time to tie that. I needed a more immediate. The hatch was needed to lock the hen in the cage. It was open at the moment. Yes. One of the keys belonged. Yes. One of the keys. A chicken house. Chicken. In this case, there. I could use the lock that caused me a big problem early. Now, buy me if you can. One more egg for me, one less for you. And I didn't feel like leaving the diabolical creature locked up. There were the green and soft leaves of spring. The gardener had done. The cook demanded exotic meat with a taste never tried before. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I couldn't pick it up with my bare hands. I thought it was better to look for another. The cook demanded. Was it really worth? The cook demanded. Sometimes, my obsession with you. Was it really worth it? The dog bowl displayed that it was clearly a male specimen. At least they didn't force you to wear a polka dot skirt, my friend. Here, Bridget. Something in the look of that dog told me it. The dog bowl displayed the name Bridget, and it was clearly. At least they didn't. Another one of the guard. The cook demanded exotic meat with.